I said, you must go now. Do you hear me, or are you deaf? Auntie, please, Lina pleaded, her voice trembling. The forest is forbidden. People don't return from there. I don't care what happens to you, Sarla said, her eyes hard as stone. Step into that forest, or never come back to this house. What have I done to deserve this? Lina whispered. You asked too many questions. Leave now, Sarla snapped. In the quiet village of Lamora, everyone feared one place more than death itself. It was called the Forbidden Forest. Not even the bravest hunters dared enter it after dusk. Elders avoided it, mothers warned their children, and the stories said spirits walked its paths when the moon rose, hunting those who dared disturb its shadows. Lina lived in a small mud house at the edge of the village. Since her parents had died, she had lived with her Aunt Sarla, a woman whose public smiles hid a heart of frost. Inside their home, Sarla's words were sharp as knives, and her eyes could freeze the warmth from any room. That evening, the sun bled red across the horizon. Shadows lengthened and stretched across the village as Mira, Lina's only friend in the house, swept the compound. Sarla's voice cut through the quiet like a whip. Come here, she called. Her tone was calm, almost pleasant, but lined with danger. Lina approached slowly, her hands gripping the broom as if it could protect her. I want you to go to the forest, Sarla said. The forbidden forest? Lina asked in a whisper, her voice trembling. Yes. Go and fetch firewood now, Sarla said, her eyes narrowing. Lina's broom clattered to the ground. Auntie, please, she begged. No one goes there at night. The spirits. Sarla slammed her hand onto the hard-packed earth. Are you calling me a liar? She shouted. If you don't go, don't ever return to this house. Darkness fell quickly. The village drums sounded faintly in the distance, and dogs began to howl. Trembling, Lina picked up an old basket and began walking toward the forest. Villagers watched silently, whispering among themselves. Some shook their heads in pity. No one returns from there, an old woman muttered. At the forest's edge, the air changed. The trees loomed, tall and silent, like guardians of an ancient secret. The wind seemed to stop. Lina's breath came fast. She stepped inside. The forest swallowed her whole. Suddenly, it became quiet, too quiet. Then came the sound behind her, soft footsteps, almost imperceptible. She spun around. Nothing, only the sound of breathing, slow and deliberate, surrounding her. Lina clutched her basket like a shield. The trees formed a dark ceiling, their thick branches blocking the moonlight. Her feet sank slightly in the wet soil, the smell of old leaves and damp earth rising to her nose. She tried to listen for familiar sounds, crickets, birds, wind, but there was only silence and the heavy, slow breathing that seemed closer now, almost beside her. Her throat went dry. She remembered the villagers' faces as they had watched her leave, their eyes full of dread, as though she were walking toward her grave. She whispered, Please, I only came to pick firewood. A small twig snapped behind her. She whipped around, heart racing, but found nothing. Only wet leaves rustled in the breeze. It is fear, she whispered to herself. It is only fear. She forced herself to step forward, deeper into the forest. Her legs shook, but she knew she had to gather the firewood quickly. If she returned empty-handed, Sarla's wrath would be unbearable. Yet every step forward felt heavier, as though the forest itself were pressing down on her. She found a small fallen branch and snapped it, the crack echoing like a gunshot in the quiet. She placed it in the basket and searched for more. The sound of snapping branches and the weight of the basket became a small comfort, a sign that she was still in control. After a while, hope crept in. Maybe nothing will happen, she whispered to herself. Then she froze. On the wet ground was a footprint, too large and oddly shaped to be human. Lina's stomach twisted into knots. She stepped back slowly, and another footprint appeared. They formed a circle around her. The footprints were moving in real time, but she could see no one, nothing. The breathing returned, closer this time, faster and heavier. She clutched her basket and began to move quickly, almost running. She stopped caring about direction. She just needed to leave. But the forest had changed. A path she thought familiar disappeared. Bushes thickened, and vines hung like ropes, snagging her clothing. It was as if the forest itself were closing in. Lina fell to her knees, scratching at the mud. Pain and fear mixed in her arms and legs. That was when she heard it, a soft, low voice, like the wind whispering through leaves. Lina. Her blood ran cold. No one from the village could know her name here. She looked slowly. Between two trees glowed a faint red light, weak, like the last ember in a dying fire. Another appeared. Then another. The lights seemed like eyes. Her body froze. She could neither run nor move. The eyes moved closer, the cold thickening around her. The scent of wet leaves turned sharp, metallic, almost like blood. "Please," Lina whispered. "I didn't come to do wrong." The red lights coalesced into a tall, thin shadow. It was not entirely human, its edges blurry, smoke curling around its shoulders. Its red eyes burned like holes filled with fire. Lina shut her eyes, expecting death, pain. Instead, she heard a sound like a heartbeat, slow and deep, echoing not outside, but inside the earth itself. The shadow did not approach. It only watched. "You carry fear," it said. "Yes, I am afraid," Lina whispered. "You are sent," the shadow said. Lina nodded quickly. "My aunt sent me. I did not want to come." The shadow paused. Then its voice, slow and heavy, asked, "Why did she send you?" I have no war," Lina said, her voice trembling. "I only want to live in peace." The forest became still. The cold air softened. The scratches on her arms stung less. It was as if the forest was listening, not just hearing. A soft white light appeared, floating from the side. Unlike the red, it was gentle, calm, like moonlight on water. The light moved closer, forming the shape of a small figure. Not fully child, not fully spirit. The eyes were gentle, the face serene. "Do not fear," the spirit said. "The forest does not harm the innocent." Who are you?" Lina asked, trembling. "I am a guardian," it said. "Many spirits live here. Some are angry, some are calm. The forest is old. It remembers everything." The red shadow lingered, but did not strike. The white spirit floated near Lina, its presence warming her frozen limbs. "You have been sent for a purpose," it said. "Fear will not protect you. Courage will. Walk with your heart, not your eyes." Lina nodded slowly, tears in her eyes. Her fear remained, but the terror had shifted. She understood, just a little, that she had not been abandoned, that the forest was alive, and watching, and waiting for something beyond simple punishment. Footsteps echoed again, but this time Lina could move. The shadows receded slightly. She began picking branches again, her hands shaking, but her heart steadier. The spirits did not interfere, they guided, watched, protected. She collected more firewood, each piece heavier, each step a test. The forest seemed alive, whispering through leaves, guiding her toward a path she could not have known. Finally, the basket full, Lina followed the white light as it moved forward. The red shadow lingered at the edge, but it no longer threatened. The path opened. The edge of the forest appeared, bathed in the first pale light of dawn. Lina stepped out, trembling, her basket heavy, her heart still pounding. She glanced back once, and the forest seemed to bow, mist curling over roots, leaves whispering as if in farewell. She returned home, changed. Sarla's anger had not disappeared, but Lina had seen something far older, far more powerful than any human threat. She had walked through fear and returned. From that day, Lina carried the forest inside her, its silence, its whispers, its spirits. And though she never spoke of the red shadow or the white guardian again, she knew the forest had marked her, and that the forbidden forest would never truly release its hold on her heart. New Moon, the end.